Attention, everybody. The views and opinions expressed on the show are not necessarily those of Acts Ministry, Acts Media Group, and or their affiliate and subordinate ministries and or nonprofits. Hey, everybody. Matt, the station manager here at Acts Media Group. Due to inclement weather, inclement? I don't know how you say that, but due to bad weather, we're going to be playing a couple of classic episodes of The Morning Mouth with Johnny Brewster and Pastor Matt. Now, these are 30 minutes apiece. I'm going to play two of them. They're give or take 30 minutes apiece. But some really fun stuff going on. This is way back when, probably about almost a year ago. These were pre-recorded, and it's whenever Johnny Brewster was pretty new to the scene. So, yeah. So just sit back and enjoy these. They're a lot of fun. Here you go. Take it away, guys. Attention, everybody. The views expressed on this show are not necessarily those of Acts Ministry, Acts Media Group, and or their affiliate and subordinate ministries and or nonprofits. So, without any further ado, it's The Morning Mouth with Johnny Rooster and Pastor Matt.
Howdy, folks.
I could listen to that all
Bring
day
me
long.
back to the farm days, but
So, good morning,
good
Johnny Rooster.
morning. Wow, what a beautiful
Mr. Cockadoodle-Doo over
getting
there.
up and at it this morning. Stretchy.
Yeah, because we know it's at least 7:30.
Grab your coffee, chug it down. You might need some extra this morning, and that's what we're here to bring you, some extra things you don't normally hear, stuff you don't always listen to. A little different today as every day on
The Morning Mouth.
Morning Mouth.
With the artwork done by Johnny Rooster himself over there.
Something to crow about. That's what we're all about here. We want to talk about the things that other people aren't willing or able or understanding. All the good stuff.
All the good stuff.
All the stuff that's at the bottom of the corn bin.
Yeah, and you know, the bottom sometimes can be the best.
Save the best till last. I eat my grape nuts a lot. I love grape nuts. You know, it's dusty at the bottom of the grape nuts box.
It is.
That dust is some good gold.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like is whenever you're pouring cereal, you get to the bottom of the bag, right?
Yes.
And there's all like the powdery stuff.
The powder.
And when the milk hits it, it's mush.
Mushy. But not with grape nuts. Now,
Yeah,
I'm
but-
saying grape nuts dust is fine dust.
Is it?
Grape nuts has a little more staunch to it. There's a little more grit. In fact, if I were naming that, I would never name it grape nuts.
I didn't know that the nuts were grapes.
There's
Grapes
neither
were
nuts nor grapes in grape nuts, so I'm very confused by this. I would call it gluten gravel.
Gluten gravel.
Gluten gravel, it's more honest, it's more to the point.
So it's not gluten-free then?
No, absolutely not. It's full of wheat and stuff.
Well,
You know,
I mean,
barley.
don't they make gluten-free cereals?
But not with grape nuts. Not with my grape nuts, anyway. I mean, they're gluten gravel.
How do you...
That's just the way I eat.
I about said, well, how do you know the gender of the
Yeah.
grape? I mean,
How do you? Why would you peel grapes, anyway?
yeah, you know, I was wondering that myself.
Well, a lot of people, they wake up and they want to hear something unusual. Well, I've got something unusual for you folks today.
Those guys there?
Right out there in listening land. And it's great to have you all on board today. My name is Johnny Rooster, and this is my sidekick, Pastor Matt.
Yes.
A man of the cloth.
Yes. Sometimes, you know, and just to let everybody
Let them know what your...
Not everybody's cloth is pristine and clean.
Well, what kind of...
You have to constantly wash the cloth.
Pastor Matt, what kind of credentials do you have as a reverend?
I am an ordained pastor through Acts Ministry Church International. And Acts Ministry, Acts Media Group, and all that.
And sometimes these listeners, they jump on, they're new, and they're not quite familiar with Acts Ministry, so we might give them a little rundown about what that is.
Okay, so Acts Ministry, we are a worldwide ministry, and our motto, sorry, I'm
We
scratching
go as
my
far as Nixa, Missouri,
yeah, well, actually, we have listeners constantly in Germany,
Germany.
China. There's some listeners in China. The Real News Review is actually a newspaper that you can find on axmediagroup.com.
You've got to scratch and speak at the same time,
Yes.
my friend. It's
Sorry,
in the
I
barnyard.
had an itch in my ankle, and I just couldn't
in
get
the
it to
barnyard, we're always a scratching and scratching.
I don't have fleas. Now, they left. They took the circus
the
away
wicked flea. It's mentioned in the Bible.
Right. So what we do is We have axradio.com. We have our Axe Media Group, which you guys are watching on either our Facebook channel or our YouTube channel right now.
Depends on what brand you like, Facebook or YouTube.
Well, you know.
Are they kind of the same thing, or are they?
Well, you know, Facebook is. I'm not going to talk bad about Facebook because we're using this platform.
Hi, Facebook.
Hi, Facebook.
Mark Zuckerberg's watching.
He's watching everybody. You know, he needs to fire his barber. I know that. I don't even know if we're allowed to actually mention his name.
We did. I mean,
I might have
is he a brand?
I might have to mute that whenever this is actually playing.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Just like whenever I
it doesn't really bleep it out. It's
like
just
yeah.
But Mark Zuckerberg.
You know what's really funny? A
lot of things are funny, like you getting a phone call in the middle of a show.
Now
that's funny.
I'm sending him a message, right? That was
Mark.
Jim Whining.
Oh, okay.
And that that happens. People don't realize.
They don't respect your airtime. Okay, if you
well,
guys
no,
are
they don't know about all the air. They don't know about all the airtime.
There's so much quality material coming out of Axe Media Group that, I mean, even this early morning, you folks get out there and you get safe. Okay, you be watching for those other drivers. If you live in the Ozarks in Missouri, you got to be watching.
Yeah.
Both eyes.
They have, I think, some of the worst drivers in the world.
I have seen it myself. I've even participated.
You know, I lived in Jacksonville, Florida for a long time, and then I moved back here.
Bigger.
And the quality of drivers is amazingly different.
Well, we're
like
homegrown drivers.
Well, the drivers in Florida are better drivers.
And tell me why and how. How is that possible?
You know, I don't know.
There's more of them.
It's like people drive the speed limit, or actually 5 miles over.
Just like they're supposed to.
They don't really crowd you as much as they do here. Here, I mean, I think we're just full of some super impatient people.
Signal use is not really known here.
No.
You turn on a signal when you change lanes, guys. In case you didn't know, that might be a little point to make to the drivers out there. Signal as you're changing lanes, and then turn it off when you've changed lanes.
Yeah, see, mine.
Just an idea.
Mine. You know, most vehicles have a little alarm that goes off whenever you have your blinker on for too long.
That's true.
And
I don't like to be preachy, but I think they should turn that thing off when they change lanes. Then turn it off. Don't leave it on. No, now, Pastor Matt, that is a strategy of mine, though. Leave the signal on so that they never know if you're going to change lanes.
Right,
weave a little bit.
I've caught myself before driving all the way down Sunshine Avenue.
That's in Springfield, Missouri.
Sunshine Street. Oh, that's right out front here.
That's a nice,
almost all the way to where I turn off on West Bypass, and I look down and my blinker's been on the whole time because I use my blinker when I get over into the other lane.
But you just fail to cancel it out.
Do you ever use your blinker in the parking lots?
You know, do
you catch yourself?
I have not done that, but I'm thinking about when I'm turning into my own driveway, I do that.
Yeah.
I live on a dead-end rural road.
Yeah, so do I.
And it's fun because out there with the chickens and the cows,
Are you out west of town?
I'm out east of town. I'm in the east side.
So you're the complete opposite. I'm 7 miles west of Springfield.
Yes, I'm remotely east. So we are probably needing an interpreter. That's how far we live from each other.
Yeah.
I don't even speak the same language.
Who? What?
Huh? So I was going to tell you, if you want to say something, we had something really cool, unusual stuff here. Johnny Rooster wants to present something that you don't hear every day.
He's referring to himself in the third person.
And that's me.
The third chicken.
It's like Elmo. Elmo talks about Elmo. Never mind about that. So here we go. This is what I want to share. There's a topic I wanted to talk about today, and it's friendship with men. Now, that's almost a mic drop because most men, they don't want to talk about friendship because it's too touchy-feely.
We're guys.
Yeah, we're guys.
Yeah.
So there's this topic of friendship that was getting at me, and my personal story, I'll share this, was revealed in a book that I wrote. So I wrote this book, and that's what I wanted to share. It's like people didn't know that about the rooster. I wrote a book called...
I bet it's written in chicken scratch.
Well, I scratched around. It's called Unlikely Friend.
Unlikely Friend.
You can find it on Amazon if that's what you're wanting to do, or wherever
kind of like a lion and a lamb being friends. Unlikely
friend, because I found somebody. Finally, I made a specific effort to find a friend. You see, my best friend had died. It was a car accident years earlier. It was an unfortunate event. But after that, I found myself more of a surface kind of person that didn't have that depth that you can't really open up to them. You know what I mean? A lot of guys are that way. Like, hey, man, how's it going? And they talk about the stuff that's in front of them, but they never really get down to heart-to-heart communication.
Right.
Now, this kind of thing, I'm going to tell you, it can strangle you. It can make you a wasteland because you're always isolating. This is the person I was. I was 40 years old. I found myself pretty much only surrounded by acquaintances. I knew hundreds of people by name, but never did really get to interact with them, go to their house. They didn't come over to my house. It wasn't that kind of friendship. So I found myself...
Same as work friends.
Superficial, exactly. So I had church friends. I was very involved in church. It was a big thing for me. I loved it, but I didn't have that deeper walk with any other guy. I was like, okay, as couples, and my wife and I, we could go with them, and they could do the husband-wife together thing, but never one guy just having a good time with another guy as a friend.
Yeah, that's hard to find.
There's some guys out there like that. Some guys can relate to this. And that what I did was I took a survey of guys that I knew, and I talked to 80 of them from different cross-section of life. These 80 guys responded to the question, do you have a close personal male friend with whom you can share deeper life issues?
Right.
And about 50 out of 80 said, yes, I do. And the second question was, where did you find this close personal friend with whom you can share deeper life issues? Those that said they did, they found them at school, church, work, someplace along the way that was earlier. It wasn't recent. Okay, I'm talking to guys, average age was 40 to 55. Okay, wow. This is the age I was reaching out to my peer group. They had found a friend earlier in life and stayed with that friend, but didn't consider themselves as the person that would make a new close friend today.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Matt, but have you had an experience where you find yourself being superficial, or it's just talking about what's in front of you, but it's never really heart to heart? That's a struggle. A lot of Christian men, especially.
Well, I mean, my best friend. First of all, if you have a bunch of best friends, you don't really have a bunch of best friends.
Right. They can't all be in that category.
Like there's a couple of people, like Jason or Jay from the Morning Drive.
Yeah.
But you'll be watching here in just about
20
minutes or so.
Yeah.
He's my best friend. We connect on a real
heart
to heart. We guide each other. We help each other in any way, shape, or form. We encourage one another. And, in a sense, we pastor one another.
Okay.
And
Pastor Matt getting pastored.
By Pastor Jay.
And that's what you do when you're on the highway. I just pastor.
Yeah, pastor on the left. That's as far as like making best friends, I think I'm too lazy to make another best friend.
A lot of the guys that responded to that question said, I wouldn't really want to go to all that work. And it looks like a lot of effort to become a friend, other than we're not 5 years old. We're not on the playground saying, hey, can you be my friend?
It shouldn't feel like effort, though. You know what I mean?
I think it does, though.
It does maybe sometimes, but it shouldn't feel like effort.
No, when I found a personal friend that was close, it didn't look like I'm walking through steps to become a friend. It didn't feel like I'm going through a formula.
It just happens. Should happen naturally. Mm-hmm. What do they call that? Not ergonomically. I mean, I guess sort of.
Yeah. But it's natural to do
organically.
That. But I'm not sure if there's a formula to find a friend, because that sounds scripted anyway.
Now, remind me to tell you about a book that you can read in that regard as well. After the show. I mean, I don't have written permission from the particular pastor that wrote it, but it talks about, 5 different languages. That's all I'm going to say about that.
There you go. Yes, a wonderful reference.
They have them for romance friends and all kinds of stuff.
Certainly.
But yeah, it's I never really thought about it.
Yeah, on the book I wrote, it was different. That's what I'm saying. On this Rooster Morning Mouth, we talk about stuff that most people, they've not really thought through it that much. That's the full point. When you're eating corn, like the roosters do, you don't want to eat all the corn that everybody else eats. You just eat your own corn, and that's what we're doing here today.
Yeah. Unless someone drops an egg on the floor, then you go crazy.
Corn and eggs, then you just go nuts.
You ever seen chickens go crazy when you drop an egg and break it? They eat that so fast.
Cannibalism.
They fight over that.
Oh, man.
I mean, they won't eat them unless they're broken.
No,
they see
that's
that
right.
yolk and there's something primal
Like,
within
wow,
them.
yes.
They go after it.
I think
We
that's
used to have a chicken house.
It's almost like they're eating what they're made of.
Yeah. That's another thing that's pretty interesting if you think about whenever you make breaded chicken.
Wow.
So you're basically dipping you're dipping a skinned dead chicken
Okay.
in the fluids of an unborn chicken
Yes.
and then breading it and frying it.
And we like that. It's what we call food.
Sorry, that's
Another very important call coming in.
I mean, that's my dad, so yeah.
The boards are lighting up.
He's super important. That's another one of my best friends. I consider my dad my best friend.
That's a good thing. A lot of people have a connection that's a little bit distant from parents. So being able to say that is important. But I'm going to reach out to these listeners here, to viewers. I'm going to say this. We don't, as men, we don't have a good avenue to become a good friend if we're middle of our life. That was my audience. If we're after between 40 and 50, it's harder to just start the friendship, the deeper
become
friendship.
cynical. We become
Well,
cynical.
we've already been there, done that, or we have these preconceived ideas about people, and now we're locked into work and family or whatever we do, and we shield ourselves from true friendship. And what do I mean by that? A true friend is another man that you can share heart to heart a deeper life issue with, a hurt, a celebration, a victory, a tragedy, a struggle, and not feel condemned.
Right.
And not feel like you're going to be in an accountability environment where they're going to tell on you. It's going to be safe, but it's going to be productive. It's not going to just whine with you. It's not going to gossip and cry with you. It's going to build you up.
Right.
That's a friend.
It's going to wash your feet.
It's different than just that run-of-the-mill, hey, how's it going? Love the weather, hate the weather, like the Super Bowl.
Small talk.
Whatever the small talk is. So small talk had eaten me up. I was surrounded by friends, and in my book I call it Unlikely Friend. It's my journey of how I reached out deliberately. I surveyed 80 men on how they found a friend. They didn't really find one recently. They'd already had their friend. Or some of them said, I don't have a close personal friend like that. I wish I did. And others said, I don't think that's even possible. And I'm
so
here
that's
to
cynicism there.
I'm here to say, I don't care who you are or what your personality, it is possible to find a close male friend. If you're a Christian man, you can find another close friend if you don't have one.
And, so you do have to put forth effort in the beginning of it.
Absolutely.
I mean, any relationship, whether it be romantic or otherwise, is going to take
It's definitely an effort.
Work.
The funny part, the different part, here's this thing, the rooster part, I'm going to call it. This is the part that's different from the rest. I contacted 40 guys on my list of contacts on my phone, and I deliberately sent them a text message saying, hey, do you want to go do such and such? Just reaching out to them. But it was so random. It was so out of the blue, they didn't know what I meant. I was starting to, I was deliberately wanting to replace a loss that I felt from losing my best friend. He and I could share anything. I missed it, man. I missed having the camaraderie, the really laugh it up at anything. We used to do stuff. My friend, his name was Dan. He and I bought some wigs when we were in our 20s. We had these shoulder-length rock star wigs. It was hilarious. And we walked through the mall in Springfield, and some people thought they were real. It was back in the 80s, so people thought, these are rock stars. These are our icons. And other people were laughing, knowing it was fake. But we enjoyed that. Some people got it, and some people didn't.
Yeah.
You don't do that with everybody. You can't just start up that kind of friendship.
Whenever I was in high school, he was one of my best friends. I had a couple of best friends, and we were at the mall, and we decided it would be funny to watch people react as we went literally holding hands, skipping through the mall.
Oh my gosh.
And the looks we got from people were hilarious.
Wow.
Hilarious. And we're straight.
Yeah.
No worries.
Skipping through the mall.
We were literally holding hands, skipping through. And I wasn't like as big as I am today, but I was still a big guy.
Yeah.
And this guy happened to look like Beaky Buzzard from the Looney Tunes.
Oh my God.
With the huge Adam's apple and kind of a big pointy nose. Still
Video
good friends
worthy.
to this day. But and another thing about real good friends, like if you have a friend that's a true best friend.
Yeah.
If you stop talking for a while, life goes by.
Yeah.
Life moves.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't have time to talk to people. But then whenever you start talking, it's like you never
Pick
stop talking.
right back up where
It's
you
like,
left
hey,
off.
you don't have that. I haven't talked to you in a long time.
Uh-huh.
That's so mean. If someone gets on to you and yells at you, tries to make you feel bad for not talking to them,
Yeah.
are they really truly your friend?
Right. So that's so petty because real friends don't have to. The time lapse, it doesn't matter.
Like one of my, I got like 3 best friends. My best friend Kevin, he's one of the ones that helped us with expanding this, and we would go months at a time without talking to one another.
Yeah.
He's a truck driver.
Yeah.
He, and I work overnights. It's just difficult.
Yes.
Our timing was off. Sometimes he'd call me whenever I wasn't. I was sleeping.
Yeah.
And I wasn't in a place, and then I would call him while he was driving and can't really talk on the phone. Let's face it, you shouldn't be talking on the phone when you're driving. It's distracting. Anyways, but once we actually connect and we hang out and stuff, we it's like we never stopped talking. It's like we never. That's real friendship.
Yes, and I know that's true. That's the reason I wrote this book, Unlikely Friend, is because I was friendless, because I only knew people by name and who they were in the small talk. Mm-hmm. I couldn't get past the small talk, and I had tried. After I reached out to those 40 guys, 40 of them, nobody understood what I meant.
Really?
I was all about, oh no, maybe it's me. And I say this in the introduction, I just say, everyone I talk to about the topic in this book says it's a great idea. Show middle-aged, married Christian men how I got a true friend and teach them how they can get one too. So first, this is what I have a more urgent reason for this book. 2 men I knew very well took their lives recently. One was a successful executive with a loving family and a prominent church life. Another was a creative guru in the independent filmmaking industry with a loyal following. One was 50 and one was 47. And all of us are just a decision away from personal disaster. Read this book. You need a friend.
Yeah. So you got to have somebody to talk to.
I mean, it's really, you cannot close off. You cannot. The guys that I know that took their life, they closed off. There was something in their life that they couldn't share. It was not what they were willing to share, and they were gone. And I believe that's a very big call to men. Men, you have an obligation to be accessible. Don't be like too busy. I've heard that word so much. Matt, I don't know about you, but busy, busy, busy. That's what people will say when they don't understand what you want. Oh, I'd like to get together, but I'm real busy. They just simply don't understand what you want, and you've got to be clear.
Yeah.
Hey, I want some time with you. I value time with you.
Yeah.
Really? They'd be surprised at that, and they'd like it.
Yeah.
Any man could be your friend if you open the door like that. Hey, I value time with you. I value your opinion. Could we please get together?
And my cousin and I, Jay, he's also my brother in Christ. My brother, I call him brother cousin.
Bro cuz.
All right, we make sure that each other knows that we're thinking about the other. He says, like out of the blue, he'll say, Matt, I cherish my friendship with you. Mm-hmm. I cherish my time that I have with you. I cherish you.
Very valuable.
And that's not. I mean, guess it's weird
it's
from
not
other
a
people
typical
looking.
guy. Guys are like, what?
Because guys are like, oh, macho.
No.
I was like, I cherish you too, brother.
Yeah.
Because I do.
Yes,
I do.
There's something about male friendship in the Christian community, especially, but about 2 men that connect. That's very special, very authentic.
Right. I mean, let's face it. Men and women are different in their thought processes. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with that.
You can't just say my wife is my comrade and I disclose everything to her. Great, but it's not the same.
No,
on a level of friendship, it's not the same.
No, because let's face it, women aren't men.
They process differently, and as they should.
Now, that may offend some people, and I apologize if we do. Just again,
actually,
that's our opinion.
Johnny Rooster just talks about Johnny Rooster stuff, and it doesn't matter. Life is life. Men and women are different.
Yeah.
And they need different friendships.
Yeah. But whatever your sexual orientation is or whatever you identify as we're not worried about any of that.
We're talking about friendship.
We're going to love you regardless, but friendship between 2 men
needs to be beyond the events. Like I mentioned in this book, don't just talk about your events, your sports, your hobbies, whatever.
Talk about the boring times.
Do something that's going. I'm learning this. What do you think? What's your opinion? Guys don't usually say that. Usually, one of them pointed out. There's a source in this book called was referencing men want to feel competent. They want to be competent. That's why bullies happen in school because they don't feel competent in sports, so they're picked on, or they don't feel confident in another area. They get ridiculed. Now, as a grown man, we don't feel competent if we're in the medical profession. We don't like the legal profession because they're at odds. So we have
right.
Then if you're in the construction trades, you don't feel competent with the professionals.
Right.
Whatever that means. So now if we're Christian men in a circle and we're having coffee, you find out one's a doctor, one's a lawyer, and one's in construction. Those three don't really want to talk.
No, because they don't.
They're branded differently.
Yeah.
And I'm saying erase that.
Yeah.
Be a man and be a friend to all of them.
Yeah.
Talk to them.
You know, be a shoulder for your buddy to cry on.
Just open up to them. Listen to them.
It's all right for men to cry on other men's shoulders.
And it's okay to talk and listen and really think about, I never thought of it that way.
Right.
Don't be so competent. Like, I've got this. I got this.
And I think the word you're looking for is proud.
Mm-hmm.
Pride is...
it's a big thing.
It is. It is.
I think my pride is kind of what I get up every morning. I put on my shirt as my pride shirt, and I walk around saying, "Look how great I am," and I don't know it. And I've rubbed off on people like, "Look
Have I told you how humble I am?"
Yeah,
I'm super humble.
And so long I've gone through life thinking about myself first, always, that I just didn't even realize that. And then I had this pride and this arrogance, and it came with it. Cynicism and ridicule, and that's why men don't want to get close after age 40 especially. I'm talking to them.
Yeah. Well, it's about time.
It's threatening to not have a good friend, but I tell you what, it's rewarding if you can find somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's up to you to do it. It's up to you to make that first step.
Take that first step.
And don't take that first step in the wrong direction because you're driving to work. I hope you get there safe.
All right. Well, hey, Rooster, we are out of time.
Woo! A lot of stuff we never hear on the regular stuff.
That 25 minutes goes by pretty quick.
It zooms by.
So
just like a ride to work.
I'm going to start playing our outro music, which will be some of the intro
music.
Grab
that harmonica and accompany the banjo here in a moment.
Yeah, that's always fun.
That would be fun. Here we go. Clap along with us, y'all. Unless you're driving.
So thank you everybody for joining the Morning Mouth with Johnny Rooster and Pastor Matt. You never know when you're going to see us again popping up on your timeline.
And you never know what you're going to hear either.
That's right. So tune in next time on the Morning Mouth with Johnny Rooster and Pastor Matt. Bye, everybody.
Adios.
All right, so there you have it, folks. That's one of the episodes from a long time ago where we talked about male friends. And how it's needed. That's a really good show. I really enjoyed that one. The one coming up next is talking true stories and about a door-to-door salesman. And you'll see the photos here are illustrated or done up by Johnny Rooster himself. So this one's about 21 minutes long, and so that should take us right to the end of the show, and then we're going to move on after that to open-ended. So thanks for joining us so far, and we will continue. Remember that you can help us out by going to Huli Gives, Huli Gives, GIVES.com, and you could go and download the app. It's the one with the palm tree, with I believe a navy blue background. But you can get on there. 2021 is the promo code that you would put in there, and then of course you would select Axe Media Group. To a portion of all of the sales goes towards Axe Media Group. So, and we appreciate you guys for doing that. So if you shop on Walmart.com, go on there and check it out. Not at Walmart.com, go to HuliGives.com and shop through Walmart.com through the app there. Yeah. Anyways, so here's Johnny Rooster again coming in talking about true stories and of a door-to-door salesman. So take it away. Attention, everybody. The views and opinions expressed on the show are not necessarily those of Axe Ministry, Axe Media Group, and or their affiliate and subordinate ministries and or nonprofits.
And good morning. It's still Friday. And if you're just waking up, you are a lazy bum.
Not necessarily. It's only 9 o'clock.
Okay. I like being live.
It's different, huh?
It's a lot of fun. This is Johnny Rooster, your host with the Morning Mouth. And sitting alongside me is Pastor Matt And the
Jeff
new
with,
guy.
Jeff with a G.
He's not even new.
He's
New to you.
He's Jeff with a G.
yeah. He's you might know that. You might know him from his other show on Wednesdays called Open Ended with Peggy Lee and Jeff with a G.
Jeff with a G. Well, I'm Johnny Rooster. I'm your host, and what we do on the Morning Mouth is talk about things that you won't hear anywhere else.
Yeah, you're right. He's just way louder than us.
Well, hey, you know what? Well, when I'm listening to this broadcast, I only hear your voice. You're the loud one.
Actually really.
I may be loud, but you are distinct.
Well, I think it's the sound of my. Your voice is your
My
microphone's
voice
actually
is
a
not
little louder
quiet,
than mine.
but some of my guests' voices are a little bit hard to understand. I can't be understood. I feel so misunderstood. I wish that I don't drink coffee and I don't drink caffeine.
Probably a good thing.
This kid at MSU offered me a Monster drink yesterday, and I said, no, I just got to say no. I have too much energy. I don't need that. So, guys, what we're talking about today is
True story.
door-to-door salesman.
True stories of the door-to-door salesman.
The only reason they're true is because they happen to me, because I am the door-to-door salesman. You see, back in the day, I was trained as a newspaper journalist, and then when newspapers went out the door,
oh man,
about the year 2000, the internet showed up. A little thing. Have you heard of a little thing called the internet? Well, the internet's kind of internet killed the.
Actually,
newspaper
the internet got real famous in '94.
It did, but it wasn't famous where I was because I was back in the woods. But
Oh.
it showed up in 2000 with a, hello, I'm the internet. I'm here to take your job. So they took over, and a hostile dragged me away from the newspaper business into door-to-door sales, only because I needed money and I thought that was a good way to make money. Now, I will recommend this. If you're going into sales for money, stop. No more. Go into sales because you care about the transaction, not just trying to grab a buck. It shows through after a while. So your motives have to be right. When you're selling, you've got to take care of your customer. You've got to nurture that idea, because if you're there to grab a buck, wrong answer. Jeff with a G.
Yes,
You're
sir.
from New York.
New York, yes.
Yes, you got the authentic accent. You could be an intimidating source if you were sitting under the naked light bulb in your interrogation room from somewhere in the
You
Bronx.
sounded Russian there for a
I know.
second.
have no
I've got a lot of
idea.
Russian friends. I've got no experience with that, but I think New York has just got its own culture. I've been there twice, and so that
Why?
makes me a
Vladimir.
tourist.
Why did you go?
Well, first time my brother was driving this 18-wheeler, and I said, let's go to the city. And he's like, no, that's really not a good place to go.
What?
The
For
year
the
was
fun
19.
of it?
Yeah,
With
because
an 18-wheeler?
that's my kind
Are
of.
you- was
I
he-
wasn't driving. It didn't bother me a bit. I
And
was
how
just.
did he? So obviously he did
He's
it.
got a
He
cab
did it?
over Kenworth with 1,000,000 miles on this cab, and we got this trailer, and we're going through the Bronx. Every sign is graffiti. Every one of them. They didn't miss even one. They tagged. Those gangs are thorough. They tagged everybody. Then they had the cars on the side of the road burned out. They stole the batteries. They slashed the seats, put the lighter fluid to them, burned them after they took the tires. Very efficient.
Was this
I
the
really
80s?
This was the 80s. This
Thank
is
you.
during the
He's
the
very
Cook
animated.
years. KOCH. What's the guy's name?
Oh, Cardinal Cook, you mean?
Cardinal Cook. He was the mafia leader at the time. It
No,
was
no.
an absolute shambles. I mean, I don't hold back on my opinions.
Okay, well,
Wait,
We
Cardinal. What Cardinal?
Cardinal Cook.
What? Cardinal Cook.
Mayor
was,
Cook.
He was. Oh no.
This is back in the day.
Okay, no. Mayor Dinkins was before Giuliani. Before Dinkins was Ed Koch.
Koch. K-O-C-H. That's it.
Not Cardinal Cook.
Not Cardinal Cook. Mayor Koch. K-O-C-H. That was the guy. He
Glad
was
we got
running
that
the
squared
show.
away.
It was an absolute sleaze pool.
How am I doing? That was his thing. How am
You're
I
not doing so great, Mr. Koch.
that name is.
I'm
it's
giving you a
too
lower
easy.
grade. Anyway, I was a newspaper reporter, went into sales because I believe that's the way I needed to fund my life. The year was it was kind of introduced to me in the late 90s. I went back into newspapers for a while, but in the late 90s, 98, I became a door-to-door Kirby vacuum salesman. So
Oh,
I was selling the
no.
vacuums. Now people say, "Oh no," but
They still do that,
You know,
by the way.
they I would say door-to-door is not the same that it used to be, because now people don't answer their door for any reason. Even if family and friends show up, they don't feel like it. They don't answer. They're always texting and saying, this is what I want. They don't just knock on your door. We had to wear a tie. So the guys who were wearing ties, they showed up. Excuse me, Mrs. Jones. My name's John. I'm with the Kirby Vacuum Company. I know you don't need a vacuum today, or you would have called us. But my boss says if I can do a good job sweeping the most floors this week, he'll give me a ticket to Silver Dollar City. And just for taking a look and letting me sweep your floor today, you got a set of Ginsu steak knives. Hang on, I'll be right back. If they take the Ginsu steak knives, that's when it's good. It's the green light. I'm already on my way to the van to grab the box of the Kirby vacuum and set it down. Now, this is all good, and they say, well, I'm not going to buy anything. That's okay. You don't have to buy anything.
We should probably stop mentioning the
Under
name of the
no
company.
obligation.
What, you gave them
Yeah.
the Ginsu knives?
Yeah, they get a
with
gift.
no obligation.
Absolutely.
And how'd that work out?
That's the only way to get them to agree. If
You
you
could call
don't
that
hand
baiting,
them a
but-
gift, then there's no reason for them to say yes. Come on in.
Whoa.
That was the
so,
mindset.
So what was? I don't know if you're allowed to say this, but how much did what did
The
it cost?
knives?
Yeah, what did the knives cost? I mean,
I
for
don't know because
wholesale,
the
whatever.
boss bought them.
They probably, yeah. That's one of those things where you got to spend money to make money that gives you an icebreaker
Yeah,
way
yeah.
in. Like,
See, we'd retail these things really high, and we could negotiate a lot lower. And then the purchase price of the unit was so much lower that there was a huge amount of spread. Okay, the difference was enormous. You could make a
Markup.
living on the bottom price we would sell them for, a good living. We were paid $50 if we sold them for bottom price, and we could have our pick if it went above that. Our money was our money after that.
And how long did you do it?
So I was in there about 9 months.
And how'd you do?
About the term of a pregnancy, and I gave birth to reality at the end of that 9 months.
And what did reality tell you?
The reality was my wife had birthed our firstborn son, and I needed to find a more stable way to bring in money. Some weeks were good, some weeks were not good. So we're talking really high and really low difference on your income, but you have to maintain an enthusiastic attitude. We didn't believe in the going in with a card in advance called a lead.
Right.
Because the leads were for the weak. We were the really strong people that would go out in the rural areas where people hadn't even seen anybody for salesmen. And we'd go out there, knock on their door, sweep their floor, knock on doors and sweeping floors. And we would pick our own.
Yeah, you can shampoo carpets now with them.
Yeah, we did that too. We would pick our own based on what we'd see in the driveway. We'd see a handicap. That's a call. Come on, get me.
Can you imagine door-to-door salesman in the age of COVID? Wow.
There's
Ouch.
Zoom to Zoom salesman.
This is door-to-door salesman in the age of COVID. I'm going to maintain 6 feet of distance from you at all times, ma'am. I know you don't know me. I know you're very surprised to see me today, but I've got to say your safety is my very, very highest priority. My safety, too. We're responsible for each other's safety here. I'd advise you to sign this agreement electronically. It's on my phone, but don't touch the phone. It'll be that I won't touch you and you won't touch me, but you will be sending me the money on Venmo or Cash App or PayPal. What do you got, ma'am?
Do you have
Be
an
weird, wouldn't it?
outdoor outlet so I can demonstrate by vacuuming your lawn?
I know. It'd be so weird.
But
It's like,
how do
I
you-
know it's
do you
unsafe
do
for me to, 6 feet of, I don't know.
That would be rough.
I'll show you virtually. You can watch this video. To me, I cannot believe people have to watch a video to go to school and church. That's ironic because the whole interaction of learning and in getting along for church, for me, I don't go to church in the COVID age. I went to church pre-COVID. I'm a pre-COVID believer.
And how about present COVID?
It'd be kind of like pre-trib, post-trib, mid-trib.
Okay, so
I feel like
you're mid-COVID right now. So what do you do?
I'm no longer attending a church service.
So what are you doing?
I get a little more sleep on Sunday.
Now, do you do this because you're afraid of getting sick? Because
Oh no, I'm
yeah.
not afraid. People could cough on me all day. I'd be good with that. I'm fine.
Okay,
I'm
so-
not
so
fearful.
why'd you
Because
stop?
the experience was totally altered. It took it away from interaction to distancing and masking. That doesn't feel like church. Church for me is an experience. It's not sit down, listen to the service, and walk out because we can't touch you and we can't.
It's not
don't
like
do
that,
it that
though.
way. It is at my church.
Is it at your
Lukewarm.
A
church?
church shall not be named.
Lukewarm gets spewed out of the mouth.
I will not name my church, but it's a big church, and it's not far from here.
I,
I'm not going to go to that church
You should come to my
under
church.
those conditions.
I mean, you have to wear masks and stuff.
I'm
and
not
you have
going to
social
church in a
distance.
mask. I'm not socially distancing at church. I'm good not going to church.
I am going to church with social distancing down in Branson. Can I say the name of the church?
Yeah.
Okay, may I? Okay, Woodland Hills Church. And
Been there.
Pastor Ted Cunningham.
Yeah, great
and
guy.
you know what? Honestly, it's good. Thank you.
Awesome guy.
I'm glad you like him. But
Yes,
yeah,
isn't
he's
that
awesome.
nice? You don't want to get on my bad side.
'Cause you got a cowboy look there, and I don't.
Yeah,
mess with
be
cowboys.
careful. This guy's pretty intense.
I mean, I'm a suburban. I call myself a New Yorker, but full disclosure, I grew up in a country club in New Jersey, so
Okay,
I'm kind of
yeah,
a lightweight
you're
with it.
softy.
I like to. I'm a pretender to any
That's
type
okay.
of macho
Hoboken.
stuff. Yeah, Hoboken. No, Hoboken. Come on,
Hoboken.
Frank Sinatra. That's the tough. Those guys are tough out there. No, I'm Ramsey,
Oh.
North Bergen County. If you know anything about North Bergen County, it's one of the wealthiest counties.
Beautiful in North Jersey.
Yeah, yeah, and but we are not. We're like those guys in Antifa. We hang
It's
out
beautiful in
mom,
South
mom and dad's
Jersey.
basement, and we just like, like, oh, I could just chill, and I was going to be a knucklehead. Anyway, that's a
But
whole
doing this door-to-door thing, it's kind of like when you go to church, you want it to be an experience. I want it to be an experience. I don't always get what I want, but when my experience of church becomes something different, my experience at church is too distracting. I'm a very observant person. I'm a very energetic person, and I'm very distracted by traditional church anyway. Add COVID to the mix, it's like me on caffeine. It won't work. I'm too jumpy for sedated church.
OCD.
Yes, this old distance thing. I'm a hugger. I'm not going there. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to stand away, being awkward, wanting to give somebody a hug or a handshake. I'm just not going to play around like that.
Well, you know, Johnny, my wife and I are
This could be
We're-
almost
we're
therapeutic.
COVID survivors. Our daughter's at Alabama. We're University of Alabama junior, and she has maybe one or two of her classes are actually in person right now, and that's because they're like labs. She's pre-med, and guess what? She was just diagnosed with COVID, and so she's in her room. But it's not much different for her, strangely enough, because she's only missing like one or two classes.
Yeah,
a week.
yeah, right.
So it's actually okay.
Yeah.
She's getting it out of the way. She feels pretty well. You know, she's a kid.
Good.
19, so she's
Yeah.
doing a lot better than us. But it's obviously crazy. But we're hoping that Bama gets to play football because
Oh,
there's only going to be about 8 teams, and they have a good chance
Yeah,
of
I
winning.
know. It's hard to keep the sports theme alive and a
Wow.
lot of activities. I'm concerned
Yeah.
about that. I know that we're talking about door to door, and it's hard to go door to door and meet people, and especially in today's world. If you were trying to approach somebody in a political year like this one, it was hard for candidates to come door to door. One of the candidates that I was working with decided that he wasn't going to knock on doors anymore. He's just going to leave a door hanger because it's just too intrusive and
Right.
people aren't answering the doors.
No way.
They're not answering the doors.
No.
They would never answer a door for a stranger. So back in the day when I was doing this, we would get in a van, drive the back roads, put on our ties, jump out, do our pitch, go back and forth. Everybody got a turn. One time we stopped at a big sign that said, there wasn't a stop. It just said, "Beware, guard dog on duty." The driver's so funny. He's like, "Who wants that one?" And I go, "I'll take it."
No.
And he
What
goes, "I'm
happened?
just kidding." I go, "No, I'll take it." And I'm whipping the door open because I got to show these guys I'm the man. So I walk out there to that door, and it's this Rottweiler. He's probably a 550-pounder coming at me full speed ahead, unfettered, unchained. He's ready for me. Well, I'm ready for him
Uh-oh.
because I don't do anything. I'm Helen Keller now.
What?
Can I say that? She won't see it or hear it. So I'm blind and deaf to this.
Wow.
Yeah, I said that. She's not going to hear it.
Ignorance is bliss.
That's right. I ignored this monster. He lunges me full throttle
I'm gonna have to give you a
midair.
Ritalin or something.
He turns away because I don't do
Jeez.
the flinch. See,
No.
trained guard dogs are always ready for the response. They grab your arm because everybody does this in training. So you don't walk up to a guard dog with your arm up. That's stupid. He's going to take you down. I just walked, steady pace, eyes straight ahead. He jumped up. I could feel his breath. He turned away because his training said this guy's not responding. So I keep walking. The guard dog regroups. He comes back. He lunges again, this time a little less excited and turns away, and the third one's more of a formality. He kind of barely gets off the one paw, and
Weak link.
he runs. I can see him out of the corner of my eye. He's running away like, I can't deal with this. I'm on the front porch. The lady of the house shows up, white as a sheet. Are you okay? She'd never seen anybody on her porch. I said, I'm fine. Your dog's a little embarrassed. I'm okay. Inside, I was jello. I couldn't handle this. I was so scared, but I couldn't show the fear. If I did, that dog would be on me. So I just walked away. I said, you don't want to buy an overpriced vacuum today, do you? I just trashed the approach. She goes, no. I said, you have a great day. And I walked back to the van just like the dog couldn't do anything with me at that point because I'm walking confidently back to the van. The boys in the van were so impressed. We got a great story. I didn't get a good sale, but I got a story.
No
I've
words.
been bit 3 times by dogs walking up to doors.
What was your favorite?
Favorite bite?
Yeah.
Well, the least favorite. The least favorite was the Labrador that wanted to do things to me that were immoral.
Oh, my goodness.
That Labrador was not right. But this Labrador's owner enjoyed the show. Well, I
thought it was hilarious.
As soon as the owner left the eye contact, I punched that thing in the snout as hard as I could, open fist. That dog thought it was a come on. This dog was really ready for me. I was so violated. I had to go and pray that night.
Oh, this is Jeffrey Epstein territory. I'm getting nervous.
Whoa.
Anyway,
Wow.
This is
the
scary.
best bite. You've
You
got to hear
guys
this.
are killing me today.
This is the door-to-door
Lord have
sale.
mercy.
Listen, I don't know these people.
Who wants this?
This is stereotypic
This is
cowboy.
I don't think I ever
Yeah,
want you
you
to be
don't-
live
I am
again. This is
intimidated.
nuts.
Well, it doesn't matter if I'm live. I'll
Can't
get
edit it.
Kidding me?
No, you're unfiltered. This is it.
This is
Johnny
yeah.
Rooster meets. What are we doing here? Hey, there's the king right there.
Suburban wannabe
This
city
is
boy.
so cool.
what?
This is so cool because
What the heck?
the guy he's ready for me.
Hello,
The
Dr.
first one that came out, the dog ran, hit the door, kept running, bit me, and kept on going. It's all in one motion. I'm like, wow.
What'd you do?
I squared off. I'm ready for the dog. It's a small dog. I was ready for an object, something.
A Yorkie?
No, actually, it was a mixed breed. So I turned on him. I looked at him. I'm ready. And then the owner came and rescued the dog. That's the way I see it.
Was this door to door?
This is door to door.
Or
This
did you
is-
say doe to doe?
Door to door. This was the door-to-door sales experience. I want to encourage everybody out there to try something unusual in their life. Maybe not door-to-door, but something outside their comfort zone. To me, when I worked door-to-door, I learned a lot about how to approach people. And I've had a lot of fun with this today.
Dennis
there
says, run,
comments?
Matt, run.
Run, Matt, run. Yeah. I didn't put on the watch party today. I should have. It
Oh,
was
man.
live. I wanted to. I like
If
the
we
live
don't get
experience.
emails about this show, I'd be very surprised.
What I enjoy about this experience, especially live, is that we have an opportunity here in this country, and especially in Plaza Towers, to communicate to the public things that they don't normally hear.
Right.
I mean, we hear a lot of stuff kind of repeated. You don't hear this stuff every day. I mean, this is
I have never heard
this
this.
is Howard
I
Stern.
was going to say, you probably, that you don't hear this even in life every day.
No, you don't.
I'm in
So,
shock.
but this is just one
Unless you're on a
glimpse.
sailboat.
It's one glimpse of a man who's gone door to door willingly and made his living doing that. As we would leave the house, somebody would
For
say,
9 months.
yes, and I did door to door again and again. I did it 3 different sessions. This is one session of door to door.
I used to sell pots and pans, a certain brand of pots and
Did
pans.
you really?
Yeah, it was not fun.
Did you go door to door?
Yeah.
Residential?
Yeah, well, it wasn't exactly door to door. I lived in the second poorest county in the whole entire state of Missouri and set these appointments where I would go and do
Okay.
cooking shows in people's houses
my
and try to sell them
gosh.
$1,500 to $5,000 sets of pots and pans.
Oh, I feel for you. I
and you know what?
understand.
That is pretty difficult whenever. All right,
I
so
recommend.
don't do it if you need the money. Don't do it.
True, I needed the money. Yes.
Seriously.
I know. I know.
Otherwise,
it's such
you're
a
going to
downer.
be so stressed out.
Jeff,
Why
you
else
gotta
would you do
realize,
it?
Well, true. If you need the money and you are hanging on that sale, you are going to have something conveyed to the audience, and you want to not do that. You want to take care of your customer.
Right.
Who sells door to door for any other reason than they need
Well,
the money?
look,
For
all
the
right.
That's
fun
a
of
good
it?
point. That's a
I mean,
good
the
point.
So
dog
what I'm
stories?
saying is
Kidding me?
to me, door-to-door salesman is like gambling.
Okay.
Like you could make like $1,000 one day,
Yeah.
but if you depend on that money,
How is happy hour going to top this? What's
Yeah.
going to happen here?
We're gonna
We got
see.
the manager. We got the owner right here.
We got that's
You
Dr.
sh-
Paul
why
Collins,
is he
the founder of
shaking his
Vaccine.
head?
It doesn't get
But
any
it's time
better.
for us to get out of here because we got to set up for.
You're going to close the door on me?
I have to. I got to set up for.
They're
Dr.
slamming
Paul
the
and
door
Nancy.
in my face. This is what I want you guys to hear before we wrap it up. Please, if you are doing something outside your comfort zone, continue to do it with the integrity that it deserves. Because really, don't just slam doors and say, I need a buck. I got to get this done. Try to help people. It's a big experience being out of your comfort zone. I'm a better man for it. I'm stronger for it. But don't manipulate. That's the lesson.
I can't sell stuff if I don't believe in it.
I'm true. I'm with you. I couldn't continue, Jeff, because I couldn't. The integrity wasn't there.
So-
The dogs were, though.
I'd
The
like to
dogs were there. They were at my heels.
thank you everybody for joining us today on the Morning Mouth.
This
with
is Johnny Rooster.
and Pastor Matt.
It's Jeff
And we'll
with a J. Totally shake. I have no idea.
We'll
We are
see you guys
Shaken
next
but not
week.
destroyed.
Same time, same channel. We'll
God-
see you there.